There's this idea that you need expensive gear to sound good, but is that necessarily true? Today, we're taking a look at this Telecaster that I got off Amazon for less than $100. You heard that right. This guitar comes as a kit off Amazon. I think it's like $85 right now for this color, and it's very simple, and all you need to have to put it together is a screwdriver. No soldering gun, no other special tools. I'm going to walk you guys through how I put this thing together real quick, and then after that, we are going to compare this guitar to a Fender Player Series Telecaster. Two guitars at two completely different price points. Let's see if it actually makes a difference. My name is Chris Ellis. Thank you for stopping by. Let's get into it. So just taking a look from the box, it was pretty well packed. Everything had a spot that it was supposed to be in and a nice little cutout. Kind of gave you little cardboard cutouts to let you know where things were. Body was wrapped in this real thin tissue paper looking stuff, but overall looked pretty good coming in. No ferrule holes on the back. That's something I didn't realize until after I had purchased it. Not a huge deal, but something to consider if you're thinking about buying one of these. The pickguard came preloaded with the neck pickup. I thought that was pretty nice. Little quick connect right there, and the screws were on the back of the pickup. We got cables, our bridge, our control plate, had everything loaded in already. Like I said, this thing is really simple and you just gotta plug everything in. Set of tuners, all in one bag, screws and bushings. And finally we got our neck. This was my first initial inspection of the neck, and that's when I noticed the fret ends. That's the first thing I tend to check. Sanding looked alright though. No flat spots in it, so not a great neck, but it definitely will get the job done. I have no idea what the radius is. So, alright, the first thing that I typically like to do when putting guitars together is to get the strap buttons on. Next, we're going to install the bridge. Like I mentioned before, you could use just a screwdriver for all this. To make it easier, I used a power drill on some of these areas. Body already had all the pick guard screws laid out, so real simple to get that locked in. The output jack doesn't have a traditional Telecaster style. This is more of like a Les Paul, but again, it's very easy. And hooking up the output and two pickups, it's real easy with these quick connects. If you're going to learn how to build guitars, I strongly suggest learning how to solder. You get a much better sound than these quick connects. Again, those screw holes were already pre-drilled, so we just tightened that down, and now we got our body ready to go. Now we get our tuners locked in. Using this Music Nomad tool to tighten down the tops of the tuners. That tool comes in handy for getting knobs pulled off and a whole bunch of other stuff. Highly recommend. The strings that came with it were all bent, so I decided to go with a set of my own. That's one very important thing, is having a nice fresh set of strings. Any kinks or dents in the strings will cause it to not tune properly, so keep that in mind. Once again, just by hand, you could tighten all these screws down. This is where I had the most trouble, and these saddles just would not move one way or another. So after about 5 minutes, I just gave up and just decided to continue with the build, knowing that it's not going to be perfectly in tune all the way up the neck. But that's what you get for 85 bucks. So now we got the whole thing put together. Run through a quick setup as best we can. We had to lower all the saddles pretty significantly, just to get it to a low enough action to where it was playable. But another thing to mention is the tops of those screws on the saddles really cut up your hand. So a new bridge would be a major upgrade for this thing. And there we have it. We got a fully completed Telecaster build. Alright, so first let's check out some clean tones. We're going to start off with the Amazon guitar. I am going into a Fender Pro Junior at the volume around 3 to 4. That's going into the aux, using a little bit of reverb from the software. Starting on the neck pickup. Middle pickup. And the bridge. Alright, now let's hear the same thing on the Fender Player Series. Now let's run through some scales for both of them. So now we made it to this point in the video, and we all probably have the same question on our minds. Does it compare? And, well, honestly, you get what you pay for. The neck doesn't feel terrible. It is kind of chunky, but not too much. The fret ends are not super sharp, but definitely could be taken care of. The paint's kind of cool. I like the color of it, but I bumped it on something when I was getting ready to film, and you can see, if you can see right there, popped out. To be expected. I wasn't expecting this to be a really durable finish, but how easily that happened, I was a little surprised. But the biggest problem that I have with this is the bridge itself. I tried to get these saddles to adjust, but there was no way that any of these screws would turn to tighten or loosen. And if I kept going at it, then it was going to either strip the screw or it was going to strip my tool, and that was not worth it to me to try to get this thing intonated. So this is not intonated, and this is not how your bridge should look at all. But it just wasn't worth me going through the trouble and stripping all my tools just to get this $85 guitar to intonate. But maybe we'll throw a different bridge on and see how that sounds later on. So if you're looking for a relatively inexpensive guitar to bring to jams, bring to your friend's house, or leave around your house and just not really care about it, I might look into investing in something like a Squier or a more affordable Fender Telecaster. If you are interested in learning how to build and put together guitars, this is a fantastic option that will not break your bank doing it. Everything was laid out very easily. You could put this whole thing together with just a screwdriver, so you don't need any special tools, and it's a great way to introduce yourself to how these things work. As always, thank you guys so much for tuning in and checking out these videos. I have a blast putting them together, and I hope you do too. If you like what you see and want to see more, please subscribe, like, comment, and let me know, what did you think about these guitars? I'll see you guys soon.